guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Swedish Words Only Swedes Understand. So I don't really know what this is referring to, but I think it's a funny title because it's like, well, Swedish words are only going to be understood by like Swedish speakers or Swedish people, because I think Swedish is like a pretty hard language. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I think maybe if you speak like Finnish or Danish, probably it's not going to be that hard to learn Swedish, but I think from an outside perspective of someone that doesn't really speak either language, I think Swedish looks like a pretty hard language. But I don't know if this is actually, I don't know, because again, the title is kind of funny because I'm like, well, yeah, of course I'm not going to understand it. I don't speak Swede, but I don't speak Swedish. But no, I don't really know. Maybe it's just like one of those things of like, there's like specific situations, like one of those things that can't really be translated because there's like a specific situation that only happens in Sweden, or maybe they're not only happens in Sweden, but maybe it's just one of those situations where people have like certain words that cannot be translated, even though it happens in other places. They're the ones that have figured out like we have a word for this. But I don't know. But let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
In Swedish, there are words that describe concepts that can be quite foreign and confusing to non-Swedes. So today we're gonna learn a few of those. AV.
Is that the
This
word?
word is short for after work, which is not an English word, but a Swedish word consisting of English words.
Okay.
This is what we say when we go out with our colleagues for a beer or a glass of
After
wine
work drink.
after work. And it's basically the only social thing we do with our colleagues, except fika during work.
Oh, that's the food, right? Okay, hold on. I think that's confusing to me because this is, well, that's after work. Like when you get after work drinks, or you can get like an after work dinner. That's this concept that I think a lot of countries have. And it's even called the same. So I'm a little confused by that one.
This is kind of a new verb that means to pay with something by using the Swedish mobile payment app Swish. And this can be quite tricky for foreigners coming to Sweden because we use this not only among friends, but also in shops as well nowadays. So it can be quite tricky because to pay with the app, you need a Swedish cell phone number and a Swedish bank.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite tricky.
A lot of countries have this, actually.
The concept of red days is not foreign to you because röd dag just means holiday. But the first time you see these two words together, how should you interpret that? I mean, does it have anything to do with, you know, maybe periods? I mean, it's kind of a logical train of thoughts, but if you open a calendar, you will see that holidays are mostly red, right? So there you have it. Röd dag is a holiday.
And why is it red?
Fan vad mörkt det blev. Vit vecka. Now, during Christmas time, it's quite common to go with your company or clients to Christmas dinners. And there you might have a bit too much to drink too often. And you might want to have a white week, as we call it. Vit vecka means that you don't drink alcohol for that week. It's white. And obviously it's not very good if you need to take a white week at all. But we Swedes, we have a word for it. And it could be a white weekend, vit helg, a white month, vit månad.
Okay, you're sober, basically.
White year, white life, I don't know.
Well, yeah, like you're just, it's called being sober.
This verb stems from the acronym VAB, vård av barn, which means care of child. And this means that when your children are sick at home and can't go to school, you can care for them and you don't need to work on that day.
Yeah,
you get 80% of your salary in return. So vabba means that you're staying at home, caring for your children or your child. And that's why we also have the new month, February, because in February, it's the worst.
What happens in February? Okay, what? You didn't explain it.
I'm sure this concept exists in other countries as well, but a lot of foreigners don't seem to know about this. So in some stores or institutions, you need to take a ticket with a number that shows when it's your turn to do something, to do whatever you want to do, like in the pharmacy, for instance. And
it is common in pharmacies.
this is so that we don't descend into chaos. And I love this because you don't need to stand in line. You can sit down and take it easy and know that no one is gonna take your spot in the line, right? So I love this. And we have it in pharmacies, for instance. We have it at the police when we want to make a new passport, for instance. We have this,
and
we have this in a bunch of places, not everywhere. I remember we had this at the post office. We don't have a post office anymore in Sweden. In some of the places where you can pick up your packages,
you don't have a post
they
office,
still
okay.
use
Shocking.
this. Studenten. This is, of course, not a foreign concept to you because it just means high school graduation. Studenten, the student. It's weird, right?
It comes from student.
I can see why this is quite confusing because it doesn't mean that you're a student or you have a tutor or anything. It means that you graduated high school, and that's what it means. So if you are a student, you graduated high school.
Okay, like a high
you have taken
schooler.
the student.
Graduate.
All right, so that's quite confusing and important for you to know. You're not a student just because you have a teacher. You are a elev.
Okay, just when you graduate.
Student generally. Duktig.
Okay, yeah, that's confusing.
Now this is quite a tricky word because it means that you've done something good, you're good at something, you're skillful, but we mostly use it when children have done something good and something right.
Okay.
And a lot of you comment on, for instance, my Instagram, and you tell me that I'm duktig. That's nothing that we say to adults in that case. So it's like
but it's
on the head saying, oh, good job, you did good.
You learned to
You're
walk.
impressed, genuinely. It's not condescending.
Oh, okay.
You are really impressed by this child.
Because I was gonna say, it sounds obviously, because if you say it to an adult, it's like, oh, it wasn't my intention. But of course I can see, like, it's gonna sound so condescending, because if you tell it to children, it's like, yay, like, you learned your first word, yay, or you learned how to, like, I don't know, do math. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, are you calling me stupid? He's like, no, sorry, it wasn't my intention. It's just like, I would assume, like, maybe it's just like, it's an endearment, right?
Child and what they can do. But if you say this to an adult just for doing something well, it can sound quite condescending.
Yeah, I can see
However,
why.
You can use it with adults if it's very obvious that they are very good at something, like they at sports, for instance. Maybe they are an athlete, right?
Or like a physician.
Or a musician or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's
sarcastic.
Then you can use this, but you really need to pay attention to the context. So beware of this word. Maybe don't use it if you're not completely sure. Fredagsmys. Now, I'm sure this concept exists all across the globe in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But we really made it into something special, and we have a word for it. So this Friday coziness means that after work or after school...
I mentioned it sounded like a chain restaurant. I think and he mentioned Friday is because I'm thinking of TGI's Fridays.
School, on a Friday evening, you spend time with your family, you make a nice dinner.
Oh, okay.
Most likely tacos, right? Because Taco Friday is a thing in Sweden. Or you make burgers or pizza or something special for dinner, and you sit down and watch TV or a movie together, and you have snacks. It's very nice, and I'm glad we have a word for it. Systembolaget. Systembolaget is the state-owned liquor monopoly, and it's also the name of the store, the liquor store that we need to go to if we want beers, wine, or other
the government mandates
alcohols. Right?
That's crazy to me.
And Systembolaget is just so long. So we say Systemet or Bolaget instead. And if you like this video, I have the perfect video for you here where I go through everyday colloquial words that you really need to know every day. Yeah.
Okay, this is very, very interesting. I would love to, yeah, this is me, right? But I would have loved to say that I'm gonna learn them, but they're very hard to pronounce. They're very hard to learn, so I don't think it's gonna. I know the concept now, but I don't know if I'm gonna be adapting them or yeah, saying them like every day or yes, just incorporating them to my vocabulary because I think they're very hard. They're very hard to pronounce and they're very hard to actually learn. There's like a lot of consonants. But it's funny, the whole like the I know the bulag, I don't know, the liquor store or the system, the monopoly system that the government it's the government, the country has like for like alcohol. I think, I've seen it. I constantly forget that, yeah, Sweden has this of like, you can't apparently, but I think it's hard liquors, right? I don't really know. Maybe I misunderstood actually. I think because before this, I think I would have said, I think it's just like when it comes to like beer and wine, you can get those at like a supermarket or yeah, at a supermarket. But if you want like harsher liquors, it sounds harsh of me to say harsher liquors. It's just like, I think you want whiskey or you want, I don't know, gin, vodka, like other more specific things. Like you can't get those at a supermarket. You have to get them at like a specific, like regulated, like liquor store. And I don't know if like the government like tells you like which, like, no, you only get 2 bottles. You only get 1 bottle. I don't really know. But I think beforehand, that's what I think I had understood previously. But I think seeing that, because you mentioned beer, so you can't get beer either, like there's like nothing, like there's no alcohol there, like you can't actually go to a supermarket and like get like a couple of beers. You can't do that. I think again, I think I'm a little confused about that whole situation. And what happens if you want a glass of wine or you want a cocktail? Well, I don't know, like cocktails, I think unless you're like pretty into like bartending or just you're into like the whole like making cocktails, you're not gonna like prepare yourself a cocktail. Like you would go to a place, you would go to a bar to have, I don't know, like a Manhattan or an old fashioned or whatever. Like you're not usually tend to have those things like, oh, I'm gonna make unless like a martini or something that's easier, you're gonna get those at home and you can have like your own home like bar card and you can like prepare them yourself. But usually when it comes to cocktails, you usually go somewhere else. But in your house, maybe you enjoy beer, you enjoy wine, maybe a whiskey as well, because those are like a little bit more like, I don't know, not social, just stuff that you can have around your house. Can you do that in Sweden? Apparently you can't. You can't have like a bottle of wine like in your fridge, or I don't know, like you have to go somewhere. I think maybe I would have to go to a bar if I want a beer. I would have to go to a bar. I can't have like a beer in my house. I think that's what I understand. But maybe again I'm totally off and I just like misunderstood completely, which is obviously a huge possibility because I'm a little confused about the term. The thing is like it's really funny to me that they're like, again, the names of like the things, the one with the Friday and the family, I'm surprised because I think it just depends on like the kind of person, or it just depends on like, well, depends on the culture and also depends on the person. But it's just like Fridays, I think it's just like what you want to unwind, right? Because it's like, it's the end of the day, it's the end of the week, you want to like, I stop working, I want to have fun. So I think maybe a lot of places, or maybe a lot of people, I don't know, because again, it depends on your personality. Maybe you want to like, I want to unwind. So maybe you would go to a club, maybe you want to like dance and that's like your party time. Maybe it's Friday. Or again, you maybe want to go to a bar to, have a couple of drinks. Maybe you go out with friends, or maybe you go out with coworkers. But apparently it's more like a familiar concept of like, no, we are getting together as a family and we're having dinner. Like we're doing tacos, because apparently Friday night tacos is a thing in Sweden, which I'm like super surprised about. And now I definitely want to have a taco in Sweden, because I don't know, it sounds like, what do they do? Like, I don't know, it sounds interesting to me how tacos came like so far away. But I would definitely want to try a Swedish taco. But besides that, it's more, I think, a family situation. I mean, whether if they're not having tacos, maybe they're going out to catch a movie, or just like having snacks, pizza, whatever. But it's more like a family situation. And I'm surprised because I think Fridays are more like in other places, or again, it's just people. I think they're more of like, I want to go out and win, but not with my family. I think it's more like a situation that's more a little bit more either social or maybe like romantic, instead of like, I'm going with my family. I think those are probably reserved. I think it makes more sense to me to make it like, you know, Friday. Well, not a Friday, but more like if you're having a family dinner, like on a Sunday. That to me just seems like the most like normal thing, because it's like on the Sunday, it's like, yeah, it's more relaxing. So it's the time where you're like, maybe go around, you go to your parents' house and, you know, you have a big meal. I don't know. Maybe am I wrong? Am I crazy to think that? I think I associate family gatherings, family meals more if it's not a special occasion, in which case you would probably do that on Saturday. It's just like a normal outing with family. I think I associate that with Sundays. I think Sundays are like the perfect time to actually go around and like meet your family. But apparently in Sweden they do it the opposite. So I'm thinking maybe it's Saturday for them. Like if you want to chill, you want to go partying, it's on Saturdays. Or maybe again you want to go out and you just want to go out with friends, you would do that on Saturdays, because it's like Fridays are reserved for family. I think that's very interesting, and again, it's like a little opposite to what I would like. My logic, my own logic is telling me like it's weird that they do it on Fridays. But again, maybe that's just me, and it's not like I don't know, maybe I'm the weird one. But yes, this was very interesting. I think there's like a lot of things, like the one that the paying system that you have to have. And like you have to have your own like they own like your own account in a Swedish bank, and you have to have like a phone number, a Swedish phone number. It's sort of like Venmo. I think a lot of places, also a lot of countries do have that, of like you can pay, like you can make payments on your phone. But a lot of them have them. I think it's very specific. Like the name changes, the concept doesn't, because it's like it's the same concept of like it makes it easier to pay, and you don't need your card. But it obviously has to do with own like because it has to do with the banking systems. Obviously, it's very particular to each country. But then it goes around, and people just transform the actual like the name of the app into like the like the verb, like he said, like you would say, oh, I Venmo you, and it's like, yes, that's not actually a word, like it's just like it's the name of the app. And in this case, I think it was, I can't even attempt to remember or pronounce how the name of the actual banking account, the banking app is, but it's sort of like that. So I think a lot of countries do have that, but it's like, well, yeah, it can be a little weird of like, I don't know what you're referring to. It's like, well, yes, it means like you're paying me. Like, oh, okay, I understand the concept, I just do not understand the actual word. And that also goes with the whole like queuing system of like, yes, I think it's more common, I think, in pharmacies or in places, I was gonna say doctor offices, but not doctor offices, like you get an appointment. But I think there's places where I think that's more common, of like you get your little ticket and you get a number. I think it's easier, like he said, because otherwise it turns into chaos. People they want to cutting in line. So it's like, no, I think this is like the best kind of system of like, it can be annoying, but it's like, no, it's better, because it's like you queue, you get your number, and then it's like, I'll disappear until my number is called. Otherwise, again, you have to be like very, you know, it's like vultures. You're like, so someone cutting in online, and maybe like, I don't know, you're gonna have to be like standing. I think it can be pretty, again, it's more annoying and again more chaotic. So I really do like that, and I think it's very, is like I would expect for like Swedes to actually do something like this, because again, it's a Scandinavia, and I expect everything to be like very organized, very like, I don't know, very minimalistic, very organized, and everyone like there's no chaos around. At least that's what I think. But that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.